Hello and welcome to Jason Cavness Experience. I'm your host, Jason Cavness. I'm also CEO and founder of Cavness HR. At Cavness HR, we deliver HR to companies with 49 or fewer people with our AI-powered platform while providing you access to a dedicated HR business partner. We're sponsored by Sala Labs. Sala Labs is a Vietnamese-based software development company that helps non-tech founders build out MVPs, all the way to help more complex projects such as machine learning, Internet of Things, and AI. Our guest today is Andrie Lin. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
So how you doing right now? Cool,
Good,
cool.
excited.
Yeah. So I always try to start with a softball question, try to ease people into it. Can you tell us something, and pick which one you want to answer, but can you talk about like either how you take care of yourself or some of your hobbies or what you just do for fun?
Um, yeah, I think I find my mm, inner peace from, I guess, eating good, exercising, have good sleep, um, good company, and yeah, I think overall just do everything that I can to stay in a calm and satisfy my inner peace.
Why do you think so many people have such a hard time finding inner peace, right? Everyone talks about inner peace, finding inner peace, but like so few of us do. Why do you think that is?
That's such a great question. So, I think I had a lot of struggle finding my inner peace. Um, I still do. I think that's one of the hardest part in life because either one, we're compare ourselves to people or things that um, um, we're not supposed to compare it to, or we are regretting um, of some actions or things that have happened in the past. Um, so basically, you're not satisfied with yourself currently or in the past. Um, and I think that's probably, I can't speak for everybody, but that was what I was struggling for, finding my inner peace um, in the past. And now um, I try not to regret so much about the past because one, it had already happened, and two, um, going back then with the knowledge, experience, and um, the person who I was, I must have thought through a lot of stuff to make the decision that I made back then. So I cannot judge my own decision and who I was, how I was with my knowledge and experience and background now. So yeah, try not to do that too much, but it was hard.
Yeah. So you found a key to finding inner peace now.
Kind of, sort of. I'm still exploring, and it's an ongoing process because um, it's not an easy thing to do. Um, Life is changing, things are changing, people you're hanging out are changing, so yourself is growing, and so maybe changing different methods or yeah, the ways to find inner peace. There are so many ways, so you just gotta explore and keep trying.
So you're in the U.S. military, correct?
So
Yeah, yeah. But your story is definitely way more interesting than mine. But like you just like randomly joined, right? Like it's like a talk about pivot. You really did a big pivot, right?
So I joined the military because um, for a pure reason of providing myself with a an opportunity to compete. So I came to the U.S. as an international student back then, and staying in school. I was struggling first, but then I was pretty competitive um, academically, and then later on, I even had two internships while I was in school. So with that trajectory, I was um, thinking if I had the opportunity, I would be able to land a job pretty easily. However, I didn't even have the chance to be able to compete with other American kids because as soon as people say, hey, job description, no aliens or no visa or visa sponsorship, then I pretty much lost even without entry into the competition. So for that reason, I thought because so I studied in University of Kentucky and transferred to University of Nebraska at Omaha. So I thought maybe I was just in the Midwest and people are sort of more conservative than the East Coast or West Coast.
And I could be wrong, but I'm guessing there's not very many Asians or Chinese people in those places, right?
Not as many as now, and not as many as in the two coasts for sure. So, so I thought that was that was the culture, that was the real American society. So I after graduation, I went to New York trying to find my opportunity. But it was a big city, and it was hard to navigate myself as fresh off the college, still was a young mind and sort of naive. So yeah, it was a tough time to find my purpose. So I wasn't able to land a job there. So then I found out about this opportunity to join the U.S. Army to get citizenship. I said, so if that was the reason gated me from having a fair opportunity to compete with my peers, then why don't I get that squared away first? So with that in mind, I joined the military. Yeah.
And so you were born and raised in China. How old were you when you moved over here? 19. So I'm not expecting to know this answer, but like, why does it seem like so many Chinese students want to go to college in the United States?
Ah, can't speak for everybody, but from my personal experience, it was the trend. A lot of my parents' friends' kids went to study abroad in Europe, Australia, US, Canada. And then when it was a topic brought up to me, it seems like it was just the right option because the competition in China is so fierce because of the population. Not everyone can find a job. Not everyone can afford living a regular life and have education. So the Chinese college entrance exam is like this huge filter. So if you pass and you can go to good school, mid school, lower end school, and pretty much your life will be different from there. And if you can then pass the test, then that's a totally different story. So for parents who has an open mind and then who's supportive of not having their kids going through such tough situation or not able to predict where they land, that might be the one of the top reasons that they pay for their kids to study abroad. And also, English was just such an important skill. So everybody start learning English even before elementary school. Now, even more international schools are set up in China. So having foreign background will increase your opportunity to get a job, find a wife or husband, find a desirable career. So for parents or for kids who has that vision and has the economical means, most of them decide to study abroad, whether it's Western, Eastern, um, yeah, just go outside, let their kids experience different part of the world.
So speaking of economic means, I'm guessing that if you're like, one of the, economic disadvantaged or poor people in China, you're probably not coming to the States for college, right? You got to be like probably like middle income or upper middle income or even rich, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, for people who are lower class, probably, yeah, they can still come to the US, but in different ways. Um,
And what was that process like? I mean, were you like competing against hundreds of other people? Like, talk about the process to get over here.
um, I think the competition is definitely not as fierce as now. Um, Definitely more Chinese kids are coming here, and a lot of them graduated from international schools, and they probably have experience having summer camps in the U.S. or so they have prepared themselves for American college way before. Back then, um, the competition wasn't too fierce. You have to have a good language score, which is TOEFL or IELTS. And then for me, I did something that was innovative back then. So somebody who brought the ACT test to China, to my province. My province isn't like the top cities in China. It's still got 8 million people right now. So mid-sized city, we weren't really advanced in education, economic situation. So at that time, when somebody who lived in the U.S., who was a former Wall Street trader, brought this education system in town and then opened up an international division, and then I just completed my high school early in 2 years and spent my third year there studying calculus, geography, and all kinds of things, English, of course. So I passed the English test and I took the ACT. So not a lot of Chinese kids were taking ACT, or if they want, they have to take SAT, but they have to go to Hong Kong or Singapore or all the other places. So I took that. That had put me in advantage.
Can you talk about some of the culture shocks you encountered when you came to the States, especially those first 2 or 3 months?
So I still remember I was in that international program, and one of my classmates.
And how old were you when you came? You said 19, right? 19, okay.
One of my classmates was with me on the plane. So he went to Utah State, and then we took the same flight from Beijing to LA, and then from there we split up. And then after we landed from that international flight, the first thing he said to me was, "Hey, are you ready? Because from now on, there's no more Chinese." And that was the first shock I had. And then I still remember like I smell American. America. America had a smell. I don't know if it was the LA airport. It has that fried chicken or greasy food, fast food smell, or it was just an American smell. But I know that for the first week or 2 weeks, I can smell it everywhere, no matter if it's in LA or I went to when I landed in Kentucky, I had that American smell. And then gradually, it just fades away, and now I don't smell it at all. So, and then the other cultural shocks were, I was, so I had a chance to came to the U.S. When I was in high school, just for a month for summer. It's called an exchange program. So I kind of know, what's finger food or what you're supposed to eat with forks and knife, and how do you communicate, and some basic etiquettes. So those were out of the way. Um, yeah, so I guess I am pretty prepared, I think, coming on. So, I do remember that one thing that shocked me was my roommate put her clothes and sneakers and everything into the washing machine. So
Everything.
yeah, in college, yeah, we had like a common area, and they put all their clothes and shoes.
You're like, what are you doing? You don't wash clothes like this.
Or they don't wash it at all.
Yeah.
They just throw it away because it's so beat up.
Yeah. So, what's some stuff about China? What's some stuff about China you wish most Americans knew?
Wish Americans knew. I guess nothing specific, nothing particularly, but maybe just have an open mind, have be more tolerant and be more patient, because I think in both coasts people are probably used to having Asian culture, Asians around, having umbrella in the sun, that kind of thing. But in the Midwest and a lot of places that didn't have a lot of international students, yeah, for sure. Probably, if you don't like something that I do, it's not because I don't respect you or respect your culture. It's because I wasn't raised up that way. So I didn't think that was gonna offend you or something like that. Like if I don't say excuse me, or if I don't say bless you, that's just or I guess it's just so long ago. I don't remember that I had offended anyone, or maybe I didn't pay attention.
No worries. And then the other side of the question, what's something about America you wish most Chinese people knew that haven't been here yet?
So for people who wanted to come to study abroad or come to live in the US.
Like I'm sure, like in U.S. we have stereotypes about Chinese. I'm sure there's stereotypes about American Chinese. Like what do you want them to know about America that you learned so far? Besides that, we felt smell like fried chicken.
I think, yeah, it's also have an open mind, learn fast, trying to adapt. It depend on your purpose, right? If you're coming here for school, definitely you got to learn the American way. You got to prepare yourself to be able to study on your own, live on your own, and be able to socialize with them. Maybe humor and some idioms and memes, common memes, and be fun, to hang out with. I think that was something that I didn't have when I was in college. I was just so focused to study. I was a little scared, very nerdy.
So why do you think you're so competitive? Was you were raised that way in your DNA, or just you woke up one day and said, I'm gonna be competitive?
Yeah, I think I was raised that way.
Okay.
Yeah. So even though like nowadays Chinese culture is more open, having a girl, having a boy, it doesn't mean that much. But I think deep down inside, I feel like every family would at that time, like I'm a '90s baby, so I felt like depending on your family and how traditional your parents were raised, right, or grandparents, they might have different expectations out of you. And I feel like I was always competitive since I was born, like in school, because with grades, with extracurricular activities, how popular you are in school, that kind of thing. So yeah, I feel like it's the society, how I was raised, and probably in my DNA too.
So a theme in your life, it seems like, and we'll talk about this more in the podcast, but like your ability to always reinvent yourself. Think to talk about how you came about the ability to reinvent yourself to make yourself better and take care of, take advantage of different situations or different opportunities. Like how do you reinvent yourself?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like how did you gain that skill to reinvent yourself to take advantage of opportunities in front of you?
Yeah, I think a lot of those happened. Some of them I chose to, but some of them was like, for example, I didn't. I chose my way to, come to study abroad. That was because of me, and I chose to leave everything that I was familiar with behind, my friends, family, food, culture, language, everything. So that was my choice. Um, that um, that part of reinventing myself purely depend on how well I prepared myself. Study the language, study the culture, have a strong mind, um, a big heart. But some of the other examples, like in my life, like choose to join the military, that pivot wasn't solely, well, the decision was made by me, but it was also kind of forced by the situation. If I want to um, continue my life in the States, and to continue investing my life in the States, then I have to reinvent myself to join the U.S. Army. So that was also um, to make that part successful. I prepared myself for that as well. So I have a couple stories actually. So one is I wasn't the fittest when I decided to join. So I was skinny. I can run, I can do some push-ups, sit-ups, and stuff, but in order for me to pass the PT test, the physical training test, that was challenging for me. So I spent 6 months training myself, going to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then running a huge slope next to where I lived Tuesday and Thursdays. I wasn't the best runner either, so that was a hard training time for myself. But after that 6 months, when I got into the military for basic training, I surprisingly I was one of the fittest. I was able to do a lot, and that had gave me the privilege and advantage to stand out. And when the drill sergeant sees me saying that, hey, that's surprising that you're every step other people who are twice bigger and taller than me I take 2 or 3 steps to catch up. So we run the same distance, and I probably run more. So definitely training myself and preparing myself for that. Another story was it for some reason it was competitive to join the army at that time because there's so many international students trying to go that route, and the military cannot process all of us at once. So we have to be scheduled to ship out to basic training month by month or year by year. So even after I passed the ASVAB test, I wasn't shipped out until a year later. And when the recruiter called me, I was in Omaha training myself, and he said, hey, you might want to come up here because we're shipping people out and your name is coming up the line. So I said, okay, I gotta go. So left my stuff, went to New York, rent a place, and I was ready to go. But the result was I stayed there for probably 3 months, maybe less. People who were before me left. People whose name was after me left. People who has less ASVAB scores left, and the recruiters just felt it's strange. Why haven't you gone? And your background check hasn't come back yet. So that's strange. So I was pretty nervous because my I really need to. I'm just eating off of my savings at that time, and I really need to get.
Hey, scoot up just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry. Yeah, I really need to get going. So I talked to the recruiter, went to the recruiting station, talked to the recruiter, and then he said they resubmitted my fingerprint twice, and the results just not coming back. And I got nervous, and then he said the last one, or there was some type of urgency that people are leaving next Friday. So it's Friday. I have a week. What can I do? So I asked him which department was the one that proves fingerprint, and then he said, I don't know. We just submitted to Homeland Security or something like that. So I don't remember exactly what his words and which agency it was actually, but I think it was Homeland Security. So, but he doesn't know who to talk to. How do I reach out to them? So I went back to my rental place and I picked up the phone and start calling Homeland Security one by one. Asked for them, and I said, I'm just trying to join the army. I'm trying to leave. I'm trying to get to basic training. How come my fingerprint doesn't get going? So surprisingly, after probably I talked to 20, 30 people, some people just said, sorry, I don't know. Some people gave me other information, other people. So contact them. So I think I probably spent 3 or 4 hours calling different people in that afternoon. And then finally, there was the gentleman. He answered the phone. He says, what's your name? What's your social? Oh, I pull up your record. And 5 seconds silence. He was checking. And I hear like clicks down on the keyboard. And then last thing he said was, you're good to go. And I was like, just easy like that.
I mean, I wouldn't say easy like that. You did talk to 40 people, so.
You're right.
Maybe.
So that I was super excited and I couldn't believe it. And next day, recruiting station opens like 7 days a week or something like that. So I went to the station and I told them, I think I'm good to go. And they said, okay, let's wait until Monday, blah, blah, blah. And then finally, result came back. I was good to go. And the recruiting station owner, the sergeant first class, was really impressed. And he didn't know what I did, who did I talk to, what happened during my phone calls. And
basically, you did the job for him.
Yeah, maybe, but it's my life.
Yeah.
And I need it, so I wouldn't count on anybody else.
No, you can't.
Though, like, they are responsible for me to join, but they have so many people,
Yeah.
so you know.
So when you joined, what did your family and friends say in China? They were like, "What are you doing? You're Chinese. You can't join the American Army. What are you doing?"
Yeah, so I didn't tell my parents at first. So right before I go to basic training, they take your phone away. So if I don't FaceTime my parents every weekend, they will freak out. I can't tell them, hey, I can't talk to you guys for 3 months, and they will ask me why. So before I went, I told them, and I said that's just the next logical thing to do, because that will give me the leverage to go on, live my life, continue my life in the U.S. So.
And you did 7 years. So why 7.5? Now, most people do 4 and get out. Why 7.5? Why the extra time?
So I did 4, and for some reason my citizenship didn't go through for 4 years, and then President Trump was on during that time, so it was really hard to follow through. And also people who I worked with saying that, hey, there's a deployment opportunity coming up. You can decide to get out now, and then, or you can join us and just experience, just say that you did it. And it was to Kuwait, not too bad. And
Yeah, Kuwait's as far as deployments go, Kuwait's one of the better ones.
yeah,
Yeah,
one of the
yeah.
but we did, transport fuel, water, that kind of thing to support the front line.
And what was your job in the military? Logistics. Okay, supply. Okay. And that's what you want to do, or it was picked for you? Okay.
I had no security clearance. I wasn't a U.S. citizen, so job was given to me. I was grateful.
Okay. And how did that? Talk about some experience in the Army. Was it a pretty good experience? You met a lot of good people. Like it was a good decision for you.
All the decisions are good decisions in my past. I just make it that way, so keep my mind at peace.
That inner peace.
Yeah. And it is a good decision, and I am lucky that I met many friends, many great leaders, and I gained so much skills, and I built up skills on how to deal with people who have different backgrounds. I had an open mind. My English got way better, and I was able to build my leadership skills back then too, and pretty much proved myself that I could do the things that I didn't expect myself to do, and
And where were you stationed at in the military? Only Fort Lewis? Okay, the whole time? Okay. Yeah, I remember you told me that, yeah. Well, that's not a bad place to be at,
Yeah,
Be decent.
Great. Yeah. But of course there's good and bad, right? So a lot of hurry up and wait because
oh my God,
so many
yeah.
layers,
Yeah.
and different decisions, and I remember one of the most ridiculous one was, we're on the deployment trip. We had set time to leave the base, get on the airplane, and leave. It was at night. We got transported to the airport. We're waiting to board on the plane, and last minute it was canceled. It says, no, we're not going tonight. We'll have to go back.
Yeah, I've done that a few times. Yeah. Then it's emotional because then you gotta say goodbye to your loved ones all over again the next time, right?
And I had and COVID time was really special. COVID time, you have to figure out different shifts, and you're working irregular shifts. And I would say, like, the field experiences were challenging because I'm super afraid of bugs. So, like, during field trips, everybody's rucksacks are filled up with different drinks and snacks, and mine was the bug spray.
Bug spray.
Yeah, so I'll spray myself a little circle and then spray everything. So it was so bad for my health, but I literally freak out if there's a bug close to me. But it seems that I kind of overcame that issue when I was in Kuwait. It was hot summer day. When you think that 90 degree was hot, we're like 120.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's no joke. It's hot. It's hot. You have all the stuff on you, right?
Yeah.
And like traps of heat, all traps of heat in you.
And on top of that, regular people just put their helmet on. And for me, because I'm scared of bugs, I put extra layers on myself. There were bugs, flying bugs. I don't know what they're called, but they are vicious. They are vicious looking. There are cockroaches running around the sand already, and there were flying, yellow looking huge flies, this big, jumping over you, and you have to lay down shooting to qualify your weapon.
So all those distractions of bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wore my eye pro, and I wore my overall cover. I don't know what that was called again.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, it covers your whole head, neck, and mouth. And plus that, I had the whole gear on and my suit. So was it it's not ACU. What was it called?
Man, I know you're talking about. So I can't think of it. Yeah.
The deployed one. It's lighter.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways.
How long were you deployed for?
9 months.
9 months. Okay.
Yeah. So I was laying down, and I had to focus to qualify my weapon. And as you know, like, I'm pretty competitive. I always compare my score with other people. So with all those bugs bothering me, jumping over my face, like, it was tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, but after all, because my competitiveness outranked scaredness for the bugs, I was able to get qualified and get.
Do you still go out shooting every once in a while?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah. Most people that's in the military still got shooting and stuff. Yeah. It's like a habit we want to keep doing for whatever reason, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So going back to military in a minute. So next, with your role at Panda Mobile, you do something that's called you lead the development of community-based mobile virtual network operators. What in the world is a mobile virtual network operator?
Yeah, so MVNOs. So the most famous ones are mid mobile, ultra mobile. Those are called MVNOs. So basically, they don't have their towers. Towers are based on T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, right? So we use their network, use main carrier's network, and we repackage the data, talk, and text all into a different package that's suitable for the niche market that we're focusing on. So, for example, Panda Mobile is focusing on selling mobile plans to Chinese immigrants who lives in U.S. Whether they go to school, they are working, or they're travelers. So those are our target. And what do they need? They probably want cheaper plans as students. They probably want international calling, international texting, and maybe some other perks. Like what we offer, a free Fantuan membership for them right now. Fantuan is like the Chinese app of Uber Eats or DoorDash. And so T-Mobile provides Netflix subscriptions, and then we provide Fantuan. So they get to order and enjoy the discounts, and
so I always wondered this, right? So there's companies like you at Mint Mobile. It sounds like they charge way less than using, like, we'll say Verizon, right? But when you're using Verizon platform, it sounds like, doesn't Verizon like charge y'all like a whole lot of money to use a platform? Like, how do y'all able to charge such a less amount? If I was Verizon, yeah, you use my platform, but twice the price or something, right? Like, how is it that economics work?
Yeah. So big networks. So Mint Mobile, Ultra Mobile are on T-Mobile, and T-Mobile, they negotiate a rate behind curtains between them. So T-Mobile agrees to sell these data, sell these talk and text for this much of money to them, and they think, okay, this is workable. We can market this up and then sell it to our users in a little bit higher rate. So big carriers don't want to kill those mobile virtual network operators because they have extra spam. So leave it open is leave it open. Why not wholesale it to MVNOs so that they can make money off of it?
And doing this doesn't like slow down the rate, like the internet rate for the own customers. It's like as far as like this download speed and stuff with all these extra people on doesn't like affect bandwidth doesn't affect the bandwidth or anything.
So it's tricky. So depending on whether the mobile virtual network operator will pay to stay on different levels, right? So if you choose to stay on the regular level, which you'll pay more, so your customers' usage of the bandwidth will compete with regular T-Mobile users. So if we're all out of Mariners game, then all the customers will have the equal amount of opportunity to consume those bandwidth. However, if mobile network operators choose to be on a lower priority for a cheaper price, then when it comes to competition during a highly crowded area, then of course T-Mobile will prioritize their customer.
I don't know how T-Mobile justifies that, like telling their customers, hey, this other company's paying like way cheaper, but you're on the same bandwidth as you. Like I'm T-Mobile paying, I'll make this up $200 a month for like my mobile fan, and Mint or used to charge like I don't know $50 a month. I'm like, man, what's going on here, right?
Because normal people they're not as technical onto this level.
Okay, they don't know. They're like, my internet's slow. What's going on?
And also, they're more focusing on price. So depending on your crowd, you might not want to target those people who are super technical. Their network quality is the most important thing. Then those people are not their target customers. Those people are T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon's customers. So for people who doesn't have such a high usage or high requirements on the network bandwidth and quality, then they go for cheaper and it's tolerable. And how often do you go to a Mariners game or things like that? So.
And how does it work as far as like, because first of all, I would not so for your niche is like Chinese, basically Chinese students, right? I would never thought there's enough Chinese students here to make this a viable business, but obviously it is, right?
Especially now, right?
Yeah.
People's visa get banned or revoked, so it is challenging. But there, believe it or not, there are actually probably 50K coming every year.
Okay.
So.
And then how does it work as far as like communicating back to China? Like, you have to do it on like a certain VPN or IP, or how does that work?
So you can now actually call and text on Panda mobile plans. So we have, depending on the plans that you're on, you have the opportunity to call, text over 229 countries for free. And Chinese immigrants, generally speaking, are on WeChat a lot. So it's called Weixin. So it's a super app. That was the inspiration of Elon Musk creating a super app in the US because everybody in China use it, even the people who live on the streets and beggars. If you don't have change and people don't carry cash, hey, I have WeChat, why don't you just scan my QR code and give me some changes? So everybody uses WeChat and to communicate, to call a cab, to order food, to make payments, to book hotels and all of that. So even nowadays, I still communicate with my Chinese friends and family in WeChat mostly.
So what exactly does a VP, a program manager, do at Panda Mobile?
Yeah, so I lead a couple programs. We're exploring the college community, regular college beyond Chinese immigrants, and also we just launched the Chinese segment back in February 18th. So that's our main focus. So what I did was overall management, because I was one of the first ones got brought onto this project. So I started with customer research, business development, customer acquisition, and um, um, uh, testing and partnerships, event management, yeah, coordination, all of that. So it's a pretty comprehensive role.
And so Panda Mobile is like pretty much a startup still, right?
Yeah.
So how did this opportunity come to you? Like, was it someone in your network approached you? You were looking for a job? Like, I mean, this is like a pretty great opportunity for you. Like, how did this happen?
Yeah, it was definitely networking and also my entrepreneur mind. So with a couple other friends, like we drafted some business plans on another MVNO idea. So and it was liked, and then because of that, I got hired to help with the Panda Mobile Chinese segment first.
And what's the goal for the company? Is like to have all Chinese people in the world on their platform, like expand it like all Asians. Like, what's the goal, so to speak?
Yeah. So um, because this program wasn't an idea that I brought up.
Mhm.
I was just one of the early ones brought on to the team to help out. So the owner of the program, or the starter of the program, saw the struggle of some international immigrants who have um, migrated to a different country but still live their own ways. Um, and he said, we should help them out. International students, international people from different countries who live in the US, they should have a plan that tailored to them,
Mhm.
their needs, their life. So we were targeting international, um, different immigrants groups, but we started with the one of the biggest one, Chinese. So the goal is to just help them um, um, save money, and have a product that's tailored to them to um, make them feel they are cared, and um, they're taken care of in a different country.
Yeah. What's been some challenges so far with Panda Mobile? Has it mainly been the tech piece, or has it been more like getting customers?
I think definitely challenges came from all areas, and we're a startup. So definitely, just like all the other MVNOs, customer acquisition, and how do we understand our customer better and build our product better? So how fast can we integrate customer feedback into our product improvement loop, so we can roll out new functionalities to attend those needs. So it seems like, yeah, how fast you can do that really matters.
I'm assuming you're pretty involved with y'all's product roadmap also. Can you talk about how y'all do the product roadmap? Like, you have like a weekly product roadmap meeting and go over different things, or monthly. Like, how's that process work? 'Cause I don't think most people realize how important a product roadmap is to like pretty much every company.
Yeah, so we do have our weekly sprint, just on the Chinese segment, and from there, we summarize what had done in the past week, and what our goals are for the next week, and what are the blockers for each department. So there's customer service, whether it's operations, sales, marketing, or product technicals. So we set up a long-term plan and managing how fast and how steady we can hit those milestones. So I would say this weekly sprints is really helpful to keep us on track to hitting our goals.
So as you know, tech changes so fast, right? So how do you have a balance like, hey, today's our product roadmap, this is tech today, but then like within tomorrow, like everything changes because some new whatever came aboard right now, you have to change everything. How do you deal with those kind of things?
So first of all, we don't adjust ourselves just because a new trend come up, because first we have to analyze if that trend is really relevant to us and how how would that how would adapt to that trend improve our customer satisfaction, improve our revenue or our margin. So that analysis is more important than just hop on the latest, fastest, hottest trend. So I think that piece, our leadership and our strategy leaders are really helpful for making that happen.
And how do y'all deal with customer complaints? How you deal with those?
We have great customer support. So Marky and Kevin, they're doing great. They we and we're also exploring supernatural AI customer service. So our human customer service are tremendously helpful. For one, they know our product inside out, and they know they have done their own research. They have documented everything and improved. They're so patient, trying to understand customers' needs and wants and their struggles, and was able to provide answers and solutions to them in the most meaningful way, in the timely fashion.
And are y'all in like I guess called are y'all like the growth phase of your company now? Or still like MVP sort of kinda on more growth?
We have our MVP. We have our
So on the growth
full
phase.
products.
So growth, y'all focus more like just actual paying users, like money coming in, like what's your main focus on as far as KPIs, I guess?
For KPIs, I think definitely grow more subs. Yeah, we would love to, because if you have a good product, we are not too worried about that people won't like us. We just need to find the best ways to reach out to customers to introduce ourselves.
So how y'all doing that? Are you going like I'll make this up? Y'all going like different Chinese American Chamber of Commerces, or there's like different Chinese Facebook groups for college students? Like, how y'all doing that?
Yeah, it's come in different ways, right? Because one of the benefits of doing a community focused MVNO is because they're very segmented. Biggest cities in New York, LA, Chicago, Texas, and Seattle. It's pretty Chinese centric. So by approaching to different entities and organizations and schools and working with some of the best marketing agencies targeting Chinese customers, we're able to grow really fast.
So going back to your college days, in college you're like summa cum laude, if I said that correctly, finished second place business competition, you did all these internships. Based on what you know about college now and your work now, do you still being as competitive, or do you think that's a waste of your time doing all that stuff? Like, did it like being a summa cum laude, did it really pay off for you, or do you got it open? You're like, you know what, maybe I should have relaxed a bit more, have a bit more fun, because I'm gonna be successful regardless of what I do in college.
Yeah, that's a good question. So, I don't know if I could relax more when I was in college, because one, my English wasn't as good as now. I was comfortably speaking, but in terms of calling customer service, you know, all of that, I asked my roommate for help. So social life wasn't that important to me back then, which I regret. I feel like I have to build more or put more effort in maintaining them. And yeah, I just couldn't see myself.
Just it's not in your nature, so to speak.
No, not really.
Okay.
But I do think that I do need a balance.
And so, in college, you're studying finance. Went to the army and switched to logistics. I'm guessing you never did any kind of finance in the army, right? And then after the army, you switch again to tech, right? So, how do you go to tech out of logistics and finance?
Yeah. So in the army, the job was given to me, so it wasn't up to me. And right when I decided to get out of the army, tech was the hottest trend. So we, especially in Seattle, we have all these. It's called Magnificent Seven now. So we had all those companies, handing out those tech roles to people just like candies, even people who freshly graduated from boot camps, coding boot camps, just hand them out a big package with stocks, options, and all that. So, so I was in the army, trying to prepare myself to get out, and it just seems everything just shifting my mind and attention towards tech and trying to see, of course I had other friends who were an engineer in school, so a lot of international students graduated from college just like me and then joined the army to get citizenship, and a lot of them are engineering backgrounds. So after they get out of the military, then they went to work for Amazon, AWS, and Google or Meta. Looking at their life, it was just such a boost economically. So during that time, I was wondering, I never had tech background. I'm not sure if I could do that. And yes, it is the hottest trend, and it could provide financial stability after I get out. But do I want to pursue that? And also, that has nothing to do with my what I studied in school, which is finance. Then I came across a program. It was a friend introduced to me in UC Berkeley. It's a fintech program, so perfectly combining finance and technology together. So I leaning into that program, did my research, and then found out, that let me study that, and then first to refresh my memory on finance and all the datas and math, and two, test myself out, see if I can pivot into tech. So my leadership back then was super supportive.
And you were like in year 5, 6, or 7 of the military, or just after you got out of the military?
That was my last year in the military, probably the last couple months. So my leadership was very supporting to me, that I because the tuition wasn't cheap. It's pretty much like a boot camp, 6 months study. So I was able to give my attention to that program to learn and build my portfolio on GitHub and coding Python, learning from scratch, learning data science, learning AI, machine learning, build my models, making predictions on
And
stocks.
did you pick all this up pretty fast, or you were were you a slow learner with this stuff? You like bam bam bam, like came to you naturally?
I think with the amount of time I was investing, I'm an average learner.
Okay.
Yeah. Same thing as in college. Like when I first started, I was struggling. I couldn't finish reading a book, which was required to finish a book or write a essay or something like that. I couldn't. I have to Google and ask for abstract and study the abstract and all these new words that I have to learn first. So in school, like you said, whether I should relax a little more because I couldn't. With regular college students spending probably 3-4 hours studying, I put in 5 times more.
Yeah.
So same thing here. Like a lot of people who are in this fintech program, they have regular job, they are maybe in school, or they are exploring opportunity to pivot. But for me, because it was the last few months in my military, and I was able to put a lot of my time into studying. So I put a lot of time compared to others. So I read the textbook, I study them, I do my assignments first, even before the assignment ends, and I do my extra research. I build different projects based on my interest. I reach out to my former boss who I interned with when I was in Nebraska and ask them to give me stocks to study. So with all those time and effort, and plus that, I know that I would need a job soon, so I built up my calendar to have coffee chat with people on LinkedIn. I found so with all of that, I put in effort to get an average result.
And how often do you still post on your GitHub? Because I saw you have like 34 repositories. Like it's like seems pretty active on there. You still post on there? Been a while.
No,
Okay. Yeah. You have a very nice GitHub though. Very impressive. And so here's a question for you. Like I said a few years ago, it's like you went to 6 weeks boot camp, got paid 6 figures, right? Now if you did the junior developer graduating this year, life's not too good for you, right? I mean, basically, I don't say they wasted 4 years of college, but that's not looking good, right? What's your advice to these people? Like that's like, hey, don't just give up your eyes doing your job, go get a job doing something else, or
So actually, after I graduated from the boot camp, things were not looking well for me either. Even though I had the freshest, cutting edge knowledge on some of the subjects, which unites finance background with tech, but still, people don't want to hire somebody who just
yeah, because
6
I
months.
always said like software developer, the first job is always hard to get. I always hear like horror stories. They have to wait 2-3 years. But like once you're in, then you're in, right? But those first 2 years, like really test your ability, right?
Yeah.
Like do you really want this that bad?
And I wasn't able to find an internship or job for a long time. And I found my first internship through an army program. So basically, I was getting army pay. It's a I forgot the term. Asphalt tap.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
asphalt tap program. So I go to the career fair every Thursday or so, and then one day this guy who work in the agency that connects vets with tech companies, and then they get paid because the tech company pays them to find army vets to intern. So I was one of the first ones with that company called Splunk as a software engineer. And at that time, I had no software engineering background. I had some coding experience with Python, the basics. I had some data analysis background, but I had never coded any program. Well, I can't say that. I did wrote my wallets, before, but compared to everybody else that they would usually hire as an intern, I'm no near their ability, but I got in, and I spent 3 months with them. The program was 3 months, and then they said, "Oh, sorry, we don't have headcount right now. So why don't you go back to army, ask for your colonel's approval from the battalion so that we can extend your program, your internship for another 6 months. And then by then, maybe your coding ability will grow and maybe we'll have headcount. We can hire you. I said, okay, I'll do that. So went to talk to my leadership. They said, no, we can't afford that. And I went to, my company, my my battalion, and then one level up.
The brigade.
Yeah, the brigade. Yeah, so 593rd Brigade. And
what year was this?
That was 2023.
2023. Okay.
Yeah, 2022. I think 2022.
And of course, they didn't realize they're doing the same person that called 45 random people just to get in the army. So they didn't know you're not going to take no for an answer.
Yeah. So I did try my best. So I talked to layer by layer, made an appointment with them, and just waited. Leadership has so much, and then I walked into Colonel's office and I said, Colonel, this is my package, and I wrote a long, preparation of what my top points.
And what was your rank at this time?
E5.
E5, okay.
Yeah. So, what are the reasons I need him to prove this? So I don't know how often they do that. Probably not very often.
No, not very often. No.
Yeah. So they already gave me opportunity to study my program. I graduated. Now I had my internship, and the army is paying me, and I'm still wanted an additional.
And they're like, and she still wants more.
Right.
Like, what kind of nerve this person got?
Right.
Yeah.
So walked in, explained my situation. I said, oh, I'm going to, do this and that, and then I'll be forever grateful. I'll learn and I'll see what I can bring back to improve. And at that time, actually, what I did wrote was a attendance list to check everybody in the morning. Like at 6 a.m., 6:30. Every company, every battalion lined up, and then you check who's here, who's late, who's.
Was that PerStat thing on your GitHub?
I think maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. So I wrote that program. So I said every day people had to print out. That's waste of paper, waste of time. Why don't you just have this program on your phone so you can check. So that was a thing. I think I proposed to him. I said if you could give me more time, I'll make it a reality. I would change people. But after I said everything, the first thing the colonel said was, hey, Sergeant, relax and turn around. I said, okay, turn around? You mean like turn my back towards you? I said, yeah, turn around. I said, okay. And then, okay, turn back. I said, did you realize you have a flat head in the back? I said, what are you talking about? So it turns out he had adopted a Chinese daughter, and I think she had defective lips, and China had too many people, and they cannot afford another child that is not perfect, and they don't. I don't know, like what's the situation, right? The parents probably doesn't have money to fix the children and doesn't want to see the pain of having the children growing up and getting bullied and all that. So they probably abandoned the children, and my nice colonel family went to China, adopted this girl, and then he said, my daughter had a flat head because back then it was the trend that everybody has to have flat head, and then you guys it's a trend or something. It's a beauty standard basically in China. I have not realized that, and I do not know that was the beauty standard back then. But I did know that my father put me sleeping on Shakespeare's book, so maybe that's why I got my flat.
Got a flat head. That's so funny.
Yeah. So that was the first thing he said. And after that, like he said, maybe he saw, I have the drive, I had the, all the preparation, and then, yeah, finally he
So when he said I have a Chinese daughter, you're like, okay, I might have a chance here.
Yes,
Like
exactly.
I might have a chance. My chances have just increased a lot.
Yeah, yeah, totally. So I got approved, and then fast forward, actually. So after I got my job, after I got in so much into the community work, and I had connections from Microsoft, from AWS, everywhere, all the high ups in the tech companies. I said, hey, maybe I can bring some of those technology or ideas back to um, the military, and then educate everybody about AI, how to use AI safely, and all of that. So I actually went back to talk to the colonel again. I said, hey, do you remember me, the flathead girl? And then he realized me, that he recognized me. So I said, like, if the brigade or the battalion is interested, then I'm happy to, because I feel like I got what I need when I really need it. So I want to, if I had the opportunity, I want to return, and help in which way I can, which, improve the technical um, um, capability in the U.S. Army, and especially in the leadership level. But it didn't follow through.
Nice, nice. So how did the Army help you become a better leader?
Mm, definitely just throw me out there in a pond full of crocodiles, and then just um, figure it out. So you don't have to like the person who you work with. You just have to know how to work with them. Because at the end of the day, in severe situations, you have to know how to trust them with your life, and that is yeah, one of the most valuable lesson that the army.
Yeah, one thing the Army does good too is like, what's the thing, knock down 10 times, get up 11. The Army does a good job. Like, okay, you might get down, might get knocked down 10 times, but you're going to get up the 11th time, right? By building resiliency.
And also, it's all about your mindset. It's all in your mind. That's what I heard the most when I was in basic training. Like the last mile of rucking for 15 miles run.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
not having enough sleep. Like I could sleep in the range while everybody was shooting.
Yeah. My buddy joke is like, I can sleep in hot rocks beneath the 100-degree sun, right? Like,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. So definitely, like I've been to. I'm sure like other people has been to worse situation. But the situation I have been to, I've never expected myself to survive. And
It definitely pushes your limits. No doubt about that. Yeah. One thing I don't think the military gets enough credit for is how diverse the military is, right? Can you talk about how diverse the Army was in your experience?
yeah, so we had everybody, different backgrounds, different education, people with different goals, and how. One thing that military was so impressive is to give a order to hundreds and thousands of people, and they're all doing the same thing at the same time, all at once. So, how it first of all, it's a huge structured entity organization, and they know how to bring people together, how to boost the morale. Yeah, it's just it will require another whole different discussion and conversation about how military works so effectively. Yeah.
So one thing too, I think the military does not get credit for like the training, right? 'Cause, like most organizations, like it might be junior level entry, you're not gonna be, whatever, right? But the Army, so I was enlisted 8 years, officer 17 years. Like if you're E4, you don't get up and teach a class in front of like your people, right? It's none of this. I'm scared to speak. No, you're given this training 2 weeks from now. Here's your resources. You're gonna get up and speak, right? And like you get in front of like getting, public speaking, leading people, right? At all levels, right? And most organizations can't say that. If you're like a second lieutenant, your first job is like you're quote unquote leading 30 people with millions of dollars of equipment. Like if you have a job, working at IBM, you're lucky if you're handling coffee as a junior person, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you definitely get pushed out of your comfort
Mm-hmm.
zone easy.
Mm-hmm.
And um, oh, you're afraid of doing that? Sorry, it's an order. So
Yeah.
you got
Yeah, you never do. You never say you don't want to do nothing. It's, okay,
Yeah.
you're doing that, right?
Yeah.
You can't say, "Oh, I'm scared of whatever." Okay, that's
Yeah.
like code for them. Okay, make this person do it.
Yeah. So I was in competitive level 2 training. Level 1, no, level 2 was my highest. And then I was fighting people who were twice big as me, and I was looking at the trainer. I said, "Him, him." Said, "Yeah, go." Like you have to roll with different people, whether you win or not. But
Do you still do like grappling or anything like that still?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was competitive, even regardless your size. But the only thing I was really that bothered me during competitive training was guys were drenched.
Yeah.
Like I don't want your salty sweat.
Yeah, like so nasty, right?
Yeah.
I don't want all your nasty liquid on me, right? So what's worse, that or the bugs? Both.
I think probably that.
Okay.
As for bugs, I can
spray them away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like you pretty much had a pretty positive experience in the military then, for the most part. Okay.
Yeah. They're supportive. I think a lot of times it's actually how you turn it into your favor, because when I first started, even though like I had the education, I had E4, when you join the army, but you're a small little girl, and who do you think you're bossing me around? I don't even listen to my mom or my parents. Like, why do I listen to you? Like, it's hard to change people's mindset and then get them to adapt to you while you are also adapting to the new environment. How do you build trust when you don't even know their culture, their background, and how do you build opportunities for you to go through things with them together? A lot of time it's how you turn things around. It's not given.
So what advice you have to anyone like getting ready to get out of the military now? What advice you have for anyone getting out of the military now? Anyone leaving the military now? What advice you have for them?
Oh.
Yeah, like what advice you have for them? Someone getting out now.
Yeah, sorry. I would say definitely plan early, and prepare as much as you can. Save up. Just have a vision of what your life would be like, or where you are going to live. If you have family, that's a different story. But if it's just yourself, then it's way easier. Plan yourself. What level of education you want to achieve, and do that while you are still in the army. You have all the resources, all the TAs, all the what's that thing? Your
GI Bill.
GI Bill.
GI Bill,
yeah. GI Bill. To have that, prepare yourself, ready to get out and start networking. So I felt like I was pretty isolated when I was in the army.
Yeah, because even though like people follow us only like an hour from Seattle, all the tech stuff, like no one's going to Seattle, right? Because like you're working like pretty much from 6 a.m. You get PT at 6:30 a.m. You're working through all the day. Get off work maybe 5:36 if you're lucky, and then of course if you're married, you can't go to your spouse. Hey, I've been gone all day. I'm going to drive to Seattle for an hour, right? It just can't happen, right? Even though all that stuff's right there.
Yeah, definitely. Utilize all the resources around you, especially how they help. I think one of the things that utilized the most was help within the organization. You know, when I was in school, I utilized their tutoring service. I was one of the math tutor myself. I utilized the army resources to prepare me for internship.
Why, not to interrupt you, why do you think some people in the military don't take advantage of all the resources they have? I think it's laziness, they don't know about it, because like I took advantage of all of them. I know some people like just go to work and that's it, right?
Yeah, I do agree with you. Not everybody utilize those resources to the extent that they need to. I think it's I think it's sort of because they're used to the military. Everything was given. Every order was given. So, hey, you have to do your annual physicals. You have to get your teeth cleaned. You have to do this. So all these are orders, but actually, as a normal human being, you need to take advantage and manage yourself. Yeah. Those are your own responsibility. So when people stay in the military for a long time and they're used to that system, that you have a flag, now you can't do this, then this until you get this done. You can't go home until you get.
I haven't heard that term for a long time, flag, because I did HR. I haven't heard that term in a long time, AR.
Yeah. So when people have so much, rely so much on the system, then it's hard to build it back up.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a challenge for a lot of people get out of the military. They're so used to being told what to do exactly. So when they get out, they're like, who's gonna do this for me? Like, no one. You're not in the army no more. You like, this is on you now. And a lot of people have struggled with that, I think. Like, the army moves you, the army tells you what to do. If you want to get promoted, do 1, 2, 3, ABC. It's like most people can't deal with that, unfortunately.
Yeah, so military at first they train people who had their own thoughts, had their own plans, into the ones who just follows orders and do what's most efficient, effective for the big organization. Yeah. And then later on, because they can't stay in the military forever, and then I don't think the military prepare them enough to get them back to that mentality.
Yeah,
that they
it's
have to,
totally different mentality. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Because they got rid of that to do good in the military, because that's what matters, to follow orders, to execute, but then to go out, then you need to find all those back in the normal traits.
So with all the tech stuff going on, the AI, the climate tech, deep tech, you can say like, ed tech, whatever the case be. What's the tech that right now is like really exciting to you?
I think personally, I care about biotech, and also tech that improves environment. So improves lives and the environment.
You say biotech, you're talking about like genetic engineering of the humans, or like what part of biotech specifically?
All of them.
All of them, okay.
Help human beings with defections and cure diseases. Just help you live longer and better, and provide you with better resources, food, water, supplements, and if you don't have to go through so much in operation to get something cured, and just environment as well in general.
Do you see where that company bought back those dire wolves in Dallas? Yeah, this company in Dallas, they supposedly re-engineered dire wolves from 10,000 years ago. But a lot of scientists say, no, that's not a real dire wolf. All you did is you just kind of redid the genetic code from the gray wolves, right? I'm like, I don't care if the gray wolves or dire wolves. They made life out of like a dish, right? Like, I don't know. It's like, to me, it's like exciting and scary at the same time, right? I mean, next thing you know, we're going to have like flying T-wolves, with like Elon Musk Neuralink in there, right? So I don't know I don't know about that, right?
Yeah, it's definitely very controversial. And I know I'm a fan of tech. Of course, everything comes with a double-edged sword. How do you use a hammer to to harm a nail or kill a person. That
I mean,
we
it's, and,
can't
and, it, and
blame
it's
the
out the
hammer.
box. We're not going back. We're going to say, oh, AI doesn't work out. We're going to get rid of it. No, internet doesn't work out. No, it's here, and you got to deal with it.
Yeah. So I know like the hottest show right now is the Black Mirror.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
So give me a prediction for like the next 50 years, like something crazy you think's going to happen. Like my prediction is like in 50 years, like I think we have the tech right now to do it, but I think in 50 years we're going to figure out how to like travel through wormholes. Way back in the day, it took like, I'm making this up, it took like 6 months to travel from England to New York City. Now it's 6 hours. I think 50 years is going to take us maybe a day or 2 days to go to Mars, right? That's my prediction. What do you think? What's your prediction?
So maybe let's imagine a day in 50 years. A day in 50 years started with maybe people living on Mars, or maybe people living in the space that we have solved, provided artificial gravity so that people doesn't have to float in the space. We have enough resources and people don't have to work anymore because it's not relevant. All the jobs were done by machines. And obviously people are living way longer. And people are investing their time and energy into themselves, into their emotional, personal, spiritual life, maybe, and their hobbies.
So without jobs, do you think universal basic income would be the deal then? If no one's working, we got to pay them something, right? Or do you think money's going to go away? Or
I'm not so sure about the money part. Do we need income? How do we get resources? Yeah, universal based income. I haven't dived too deep into that topic.
Okay.
But I was just thinking,
Or do people just lose their job? Like way back in the day, I use an example all the time. Like way back in the day when cars came out, those people made like their job was like make saddles, right? Or shovel the horse shit off the street, right? Like, do this totally lose their jobs? They find another job, like software developers. AI does a coding now for everyone. Like, do they like stay in school and become a better developer, or
maybe they get paid in different ways. Yeah, doing the things that they like and they enjoy, and then providing what they're good at as a service to others that also makes them happy. Or
I definitely think as a society we're not ready for that question yet, though, right? I think we're not ready for those questions yet. We have to get ready pretty fast, though. It's going to happen sooner than we think. In my opinion. You also work at something called OffChain Global Seattle chapter. Can you talk about that? Is that a nonprofit?
I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
It is a nonprofit. So the organization the founder was Jonathan, and he was originally from Minnesota and moved to Hong Kong before the pandemic, I think. So he founded the organization and it fastly grow into different cities and have different chapters. And I was it was during my time in UC Berkeley, doing my study in blockchain, Web3, and AI. So definitely had different thoughts on how to utilize Web3 technology, utilize wallets and coins and the whole blockchain to improve human life. So I had built a program on my GitHub and then posted on LinkedIn, and I reached out to people to chat about all those things. And then one of the guy, I forgot whether I reached out to him or he reached out to me first. His name is Ken M, in San Francisco, and he was the overall, I would say, managers in North America for OffChain. So I think he let me know that, hey, are you interested in founding the OffChain Global Seattle chapter? So I had no experience in leading a community, especially a tech community, something that I myself barely got into. But I said yes, because several reasons. Again, I want to challenge myself, and two, I wasn't really familiar with the tech startup world, and I did not have much resources back then. But I had the idea. I had the MVP of building a social system, page system, utilizing blockchain. So basically, anybody who's an influencer, who has fan base, can publish their own coin on a blockchain. So, for example, Trump token. So I had that idea to build that. So based on your performance so for example, Tiger Woods, he's a great golfer. And so his token would be going, price would be going steady, going up. And then he had the scandal, it dropped a bit when people still believed in his skills, regardless of his personal life, and people start buying low on his token and stock it, and then eventually go back up. So, and then he can do like a real fan engagement based on, who he know. So that solves the bots issue within the social media. So all kinds of things I had in my mind, and built that wallet system, ready and solidity. And then Ken reached out and saying that, hey, why don't you found this organization? And then I said, okay, cool. So I don't have any resources to build my startup. I don't know where to start. But if I have the community around me, maybe I'll learn from other people's experience. If I don't get a chance to build my own right now, at least I have all the resources. So when I'm ready, when I do, I'll be able to. So if I have the community and I'm more involved in spend time with all these founders and these technologists, then it will open my mind, and maybe I'll have more ideas. So that was it's a very personal reason to start it. But then later on, it definitely proved myself again that I was able to do it. Our first one was a very, very early stage, just a meetup at a brewery. I did make calls, make sure that, hey, you don't charge me nothing because I have nothing to offer. We just have a few people coming in, but end up having like 20, 25 people coming in.
And y'all do like monthly meetings still?
Yeah, no, unfortunately,
Okay.
I've paused because of other reasons, other priorities. But that was our first one. So that was at the end of the year of 2022, I think. So, and from there, I started building friends and networks deep into Seattle tech world. And a lot of friends were still in touch who came to my first meetup. And then from there, I said, I want to do something more. I sort of grow that sense of leadership, sense of ownership mindset. I said, I want people who come to my meetup get something out of it. Just even though you just chatted about your own projects, about your own life, about the technology, about how crypto is doing back then, but at the end of the day, I want you to get something out of the meetup. So my second one was even better. I had several key leaders in the tech community to gather them, and hosted a panel discussion, and then from there I got more into community building and events. So I went to a very nice venue in Seattle downtown called Collective, and then I saw some other events. At that time I said, hey, that was late January, I think, February of 2023. I said, I want to grow my organization, and I want to be able to host an event in Collective. And then 6 months later, I did it, and that was my tech um, um, demo event. So I had companies travel from Florida to come in and give an displaying their products and then showing their product, explaining and connecting them with investors locally from Seattle. And I think they're doing pretty good right now. They got funding and stuff. So from there, I got more friends and network. And but my last event wasn't really related to tech because of my event hosted in Collective. I felt really grateful. So I thanked everybody on my list at the end, and I added that I want to thank myself because I don't want to not recognizing myself. I put a lot of effort, and then people laughed and people agreed. So that kind of inspired me of my last event. So I hosted a tea ceremony event to take people out of tech, to abandon their phone for 2 hours, just to immerse themselves into inner peace, to connect them, disconnect from the social network, from the devices, but can reconnect with themselves. So with help from my friend Amina, Jesse, Casey, and Fiona, and so many other local organizations, the 601 Club, and all of those people. So I was able to pull it off again. So I think people, it was refreshing with all the tech events going on that kind of disconnects everything.
So it's 2:32 now. Do you need to go do your parking, or do you want to keep on going, or you can do it on the phone? Okay, cool. So you live in Seattle or close by to Seattle?
I live in Bellevue.
Bellevue, okay.
Yeah. You're gonna cut this part out, right? Or is it?
It's. I mean, yes, live streaming. So
Okay.
I've done worse than this. So obviously, with your off-chain global Seattle, you get a lot of value to a lot of people, right? Have a lot of people out get involved. But what do you personally get out of it? I'm from believe like you have to give back, but you should still get something out of it, right? So what are you getting out of this?
Yeah, I think I got out everything I wanted when I first started and more. So when I first started, I wanted a network around me that will be able to support me when I have an idea. I want to have my own startup. And now I do believe that I have that resources if I need it. And also, I made friends with so many founders and learned from them. And all of them have inspiring stories, and that inspired me even more. So, what else I got out? Again, I proved myself that I can do something that I've never done before, and I was able to do it and do it fast, and made it known in the circle. So, yeah, I think it offered more than what I asked.
So from your personal opinion, give us your take on the Seattle tech startup scene. Is it growing? Is it like where it should be? Is it like behind the curve? Like, what's your take on the current tech scene here in Seattle?
I am not super involved this year.
Mm,
Um, sort of backed out last year too, focusing on growing Panda
mm.
Mobile. But from my understanding, if you need funding, you have to go to San Francisco.
That's so unfortunate, right? I mean, we have all this stuff here. Like, I'm a big critic of the Seattle investors, right? It's like we have all this stuff here, but everyone I know goes to San Francisco or New York City. You know, like story I tell all the time. I had a friend of mine. She had some kind of tech sales platform. She couldn't even get a meeting here, right? Nothing, right? She shut it down with New York City, and then 6 months later, he raised $500,000. A year later, she raised a $10 million A round in Austin, right? And of course, other Seattle investors try to jump on the bandwagon, right? Yeah, it's unfortunate, right?
Yeah, yeah, but you
But
never know.
yeah,
Yeah,
it is what it is. Yeah,
people still very optimistic about it,
yeah,
and we still have Seattle Tech Week coming.
yeah.
So, yeah, I would say that if you're keep doing what you're doing, what
Mm,
you're good at, and where your passion's at, and don't take no as an answer.
mm,
Like for example, myself and so
mm,
many of my past experience. Um, if you're persistent and
mm,
then you know what you want
yeah,
and you know where to ask for, and eventually it might take a U-turn and take a circle and
mm.
all the other ways, but eventually you'll get it.
Yeah. Speaking of Seattle Tech Week, like I told, I'm actually hosting an event for Seattle Tech Week. So I'm sort of fleshing that all out. Yeah, I'm very excited to do that. Yeah. Um. So I copied this down. Hold on. It says somewhere. I think it was in your bio somewhere. I saw it. You said I'm committed to creating meaningful connections through technology, empowering communities, and building ecosystems that inspire trust and innovation. I mean, that's a lot. Like,
Yeah.
how do you go about doing that? You always talk about somehow you do that, but can you go in more detail? Like, and why is that so important to you?
Mm, I think that came to light from mm, my passion about technology and also what I have built, which is community. So, talking about community, we have to understand what is a community. Um, my definition would be a group of people have shared interest, value, moral standard, and interest. I say interest, but so that group of people. So for people who have not been involved in community, does not know, may not know how powerful it is. It is super intertwined, connected. Message spread widely. People are super loyal to their to the organization, what they believe, and it is up to you how to utilize that power. And I think technology can definitely benefit. Um, Technology can definitely benefit that um, um, community, make it stronger and better, and community can enhance technology, have it spread faster, and um, allow people to utilize that piece of technology to its fullest.
So, it, for tech, do you need like a certain character or certain characteristics, certain values? Like, do you need to be able like to really be detail oriented or like certain mindset to be successful in tech?
Mm, I think a lot of occupations and roles come in tech. I think in general, if you want to be successful in an area, it probably requires very similar traits
Mm.
and personality and characteristics. So, which is uh, mentality is the key, and ownership. be the owner of yourself. If you're working at a company, have the ownership mindset. If you're the owner, how do you make the decision? How do you do the job? And same thing as in tech. To learn a piece of technology, pick up something new, or to monetize a piece of technology. How would you utilize that to benefit users, to benefit the organization that you're in? So I would say a lot of the traits and characteristics are the same, no matter which industry you're in. For yeah, like open-mindedness, that could be applied to a lot of areas too. So innovative and be creative, execution, yeah, all of those are really important and also can apply to be for you to be successful in other industries.
So AI and machine learning, are those like two different sides of the same coin? Is AI like one thing, machine learning different things, like combined? Like what is that?
I'm sure watched videos that you talk to other AI experts. So I think she probably had or he had a better answers, but to me, AI is very general, and machine learning is just part of it. You use machine learning technology to analyze the stock movement, making predictions. You use machine learning to analyze, to build natural language models. Like those are very specific examples of AI, which is very broader as a general term, artificial intelligence, to cover all of the usage and technology in that realm.
So just my opinion, I don't think the average American has any idea how advanced AI is, how advanced tech is, machine learning. I don't think they have any idea what's going on, right? Like, how do we have the average American say, okay, like you need to jump on the bandwagon, so to speak, right? Like, don't be an expert. Like, you need to learn like what's going on, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think some of the people are still against it. You know,
I mean, it can be kind of scary, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we've already watched Skynet, right? Terminator, right? We all know the worst case scenario, right?
Yeah. So I have a question for you. So you have interviewed all this very smart people in tech and AI, all sorts of technology. What do they have similar thoughts about AI? How people should adapt to it, or is it all different ideas?
It's kind of different, but it's all based on the same. I guess it's different paths to the same place, right? AI is supposed to improve our lives, right? Some kind of way, but how does it improve our lives, right? I mean, is it like you use Alexa and say, "Hey, do whatever," right? Or do you say, "Hey, OpenAI, I want to do X, Y, Z. How's the best thing I could do it?" And here's my like for me, I did this like a couple months ago. I went to ChatGPT and put my current tech stack in, said everything I want to do for my company, right? And said, give me a recommended tech stack and a cybersecurity plan, right? Of course, I'm not gonna like just use it. I took it to other people I trust, and I mean, like, this is pretty damn good, right?
Yeah.
Let's go with this, right? It's and like I probably use it like probably 1% of my capability, right? And you always learn how people do like these crazy things, like, whoa, I never thought about that, right? It's but then like I don't know, it's like, and another thing too is like, how do we keep this from having the divide go even further, right? If you're rich with Wi-Fi access, like, is that fair to have all this and you like some kind of like poor person, rural Kentucky, right, with no internet, right? Is it
Yeah.
going to like divide the haves and have-nots even more, right? Like, how do you keep from doing that?
Yeah, that is really a scary thought. You know, we're over here debating which large language model we're using for which tasks, and there were people who doesn't even have a phone.
I know, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so that is
Yeah, and then I don't know. There's definitely the threat to the divide between it gets even farther and farther away. How do we keep from that? Because AI is supposed to make everyone's lives better, right? That be like so. It's not something for so Bill Gates can add income to his income streams, right? Or like someone rich have I have 10 AI agents doing 10 different things, right? Making $1 million a year, right? It's like I don't think it should be for that. At least not all for that, right? But it's endless, right? Like you see all the like AI running like irrigation farms, like when the water stuff, when to feed cows and chickens, like it's it's limitless, right? I mean, just our imagination, what can it do or not do? But some people are always scared of it. Like I know some people still don't use Google Sheets because they're scared of it. They're still using pen and paper, right? Like
Yeah, there are definitely regulation has to come
yeah.
in play.
And then whether good or bad, the government will never catch up with tech, right? They'll always be like 20, 30 years behind, right? It's, yeah, it's very exciting times though, right? Like, and then I watched this YouTube video a while ago, like tech predictions. One tech prediction, like we're all gonna have like a personal robot, right? And so like even like in like we go old, our spouses die, we have this robot with us for life, right? For companionship, right? Which is kind of scary, kind of good. Like you can imagine, hey, I get this personal robot. Hey, honey, I don't need any anymore. Let's get a divorce. I'm rolling with this robot.
Yeah, totally. It's definitely life changing. Um, it's already changing people's lives.
Isn't there? People in China, I mean, Japan already got married, already marrying robots. I think. Yeah.
Right. And also, like, how many people talk to AI more than they talk to people around?
I mean, I'm getting pretty damn close. I mean, every day I go on my TV and go open AI. I do like open AI. I practice code calling over there, right? Like 30 minutes a day. And it's so what's the word, intuitive? Like I know you're not real, but damn, you're like.
Social lives are changing. People are less and less people are going out to meet people, having genuine conversation. Instead, just going online, and the algorithm seems to understand them better to just keep scrolling.
Do you have a favorite one? Like OpenAI, there's OpenAI, Grok, Notebook LM. There's like pretty like thousands of them out there right now. You have a favorite one that you use?
Mm, I haven't tried all of them, but from what I heard and what I've done research, but I'm not used. I mean, Guac is definitely more fun and have a personality. I'm still a huge fan of ChatGPT still, and especially that they improve their image generation.
I think that's always been the go-to for most people.
Yeah, so I tried Stable Diffusion. I tried um, um, some other ones that.
Have you tried a Notebook LM? So somebody just told me that, right? It was kind of like it's kind of exciting. It's kind of like just off, like so you can go to Notebook LM and let's suppose you upload a 20-minute conversation, right? Like upload this there, right? I think the limit is 30 minutes, right? You upload it and the AI does a podcast on it, right? But what's really even freakier, during the podcast, you can hit pause and ask a question and they'll answer the question. Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like it's insane, yeah. And they hit all the points, like yeah, it's like dead on, yeah. And it is instant, like no, it's no like buffering for an hour. It's like, bam, upload within seconds. They have a podcast they're doing.
So what do you think are some of the things that AI can never surpass a human?
Oh man, I mean, I'd like to say art, but I think they're doing art already. I don't know. It's like I mean, I think you do everything honestly, right? I mean, it's gonna fly ships. I mean, actually, it's already is flying planes, right? I mean, it might not be called AI, but it's like remote control pilot stuff. I mean, I just what are we acceptable, right? Like for art, right? Suppose there's two paintings, one done by a real human, one by artists. I mean, one by AI. You're not gonna know the difference. Are you gonna say, hey, I'll pay this human $1,000? I'll pay this robot like nothing, right? Because it's not human, right? It's like, yeah, it's. I think OpenAI is actually getting sued by New York Times because they, sort of like, stole, stuff, copyrighted stuff. I was on top of head. I mean, there has to be something, right? I mean, well, I hope that they could never be a mother to a kid, right? That'd be one thing. Hopefully that, I definitely don't think I don't want AI robots raising my kids, right? But we might, get there one day.
What about emotion? Do you think AI will evoke and to have
Emotions? So man, have you heard of this? Not all the same thing, but you know, have you heard of Cursor AI? So basically, like it writes code for you, right? And I'll send you the link after this. So basically, people go in there and say, "Build me a website based on this," right? And so it was helping someone code, and it did 800 lines of code, and it stopped and it said, "Hey, I've done 800 lines of code for you right now. I don't think you're learning anything. You need to do the rest yourself." Yeah, actually, let me see if I can pull it up real fast.
That's crazy. I used bolt.new to also build a website. That was very convenient. That's crazy.
Okay, that's not the right one. So this thing made a decision like, there it is.
Tells users to learn.
Ain't that crazy?
Instead, I'm not sure if the AI coding assistant was programmed to do that. So
Yeah.
after a certain
think it hit its limit.
The limit, and then just generate a line that.
So you think someone coded that in there? Say if you get this line of code, like you have this message in there, okay. But it's just like, okay, is this thing thinking or what it's doing, right?
Yeah. So the reason I mentioned emotion was that one of the thing that defines human from maybe animal or plants, or if we listen to a song, if we look at certain pictures, and that brings us a different energy that triggers sort of micro emotions and all those micro expressions, movements in your body, and then you don't even notice. And I don't think that can be done with AI now, but I might be wrong.
So here's a question for you. So I think a lot of people, they make decisions, emotions get tied into it, right? Which could be good or bad, right? So is it better to make an emotionally based decision on base one, like on AI with no emotion?
But also I heard that, listen to your gut, because human is actually a very precisely built machine. And a lot of times our intuition, our subconscious sense the danger, sense the uncomfortableness in a situation that tells you leave, tells you to go. But for a machine, it doesn't have that sixth sense built into them.
And plus, a machine can go 24/7. We have to shut down every once in a while, like reading jobs and stuff. What scares you about AI? What were your fears about AI?
My fear? I think it will be so powerful and so dependable, so that all of us depend on it for so much things, and then we're able to be able to live without it.
Too dependent on it. How does AI, does it use like it uses a lot of energy, right? Like it's really like it. Isn't that why Microsoft's trying to bring back 3 Mile Island, like use nuclear power? Like it's very energy intensive, I guess. Yeah. Is quantum computing here already, or is that something in the future already happening?
I think the trend is back. Yeah, it was definitely a topic in the past, but recently it seems like I've heard my founder friends pitching and investor having an investor pitch, and then they were told that tell me something other than AI because it's already old.
Yeah. Yeah. So change the subjects. You went to an event a little while ago. I'm gonna say her name wrong. It's Dr. Claire Sucio,
Yep.
and I think it's called Wabi Sabi. Did I say that right? Yeah. So I recently learned about it right now. Can you tell people about that?
Yeah, wabi sabi is a Japanese term, basically telling people to be grateful and appreciate the existing beauty in its natural way. So yeah, so Dr. Claire Cuccio was a friend I met through 601. She was a professor, studied in Japan, lived in Japan, studied Asian arts, culture, and religion, probably. So she's an expert and enthusiast about Japanese culture, and then it was very nice that she had the opportunity to provide a I wouldn't say lesson, but it gave a presentation about this concept of wabi sabi and how it was used in the history and how it is used in current life from your mentality, from art, all aspects. So it was pretty interesting.
So you mentioned 601 Club a couple of times. So in Seattle, you could do a networking event. You go something going on every day, right? Like there's something always going on. Why do you choose do a lot of networking with 601 Club? What is the 601 Club?
So it is a private club, professional networking club, and then it's the longest existing private networking club in the Seattle. I think 15, 16 years now. So the thing I love 601 the most is one of their rules. So we meet every Thursday in person, every Tuesdays online, and during those 2 or 3 hours of meeting, you are not supposed to sell and pitch and promote. You're able to talk about yourself, what you do, and what you're passionate about. But don't be selling insurance, to the person who you just met.
That's one thing I actually hate about when I transfer from Army. I go to these networking events, military. You're like, half of them will be first command, half of them selling insurance, stuff it'd be so military centric jobs. I'm wasting my time here. What am I doing here? I actually hate that.
Yeah, absolutely. So during those 2-3 hours, you're just purely building genuine connections from one person to another. So 601's has that rule, but in general had promoted and allowed so many deals and business and collaborations to happen behind that. So I love the concept. Shout out to Fortunato, who was one of the founder, and I personally benefited a lot from just going to the networking club, having this true human connection in such digital world, and many great relationship partnerships and concepts grew out of that.
Is there a membership cost to be in the 601 Club? Okay. And y'all meet the same place every Thursday, or does that change? Okay. Okay. Cool. So this might be something from your past, right? Talk about this project you did called a Fanatic FI and NBA draft prediction app.
Yeah, Fanatic Fi. That was one of the project I did in when I was in studying at UC Berkeley. So basically, I just learned using machine learning models and all different models. There's decision tree. There's scikit-learn. There's I think scikit-learn might not be a model, but there's AdaBoost. There's all kinds of models that you can tune the model a little bit, and they generate different results. And then there are models specifically for MBA, for that data, for language, for time series like stocks and cryptos, all kinds of models. So when I first got into it, and we had this project coming up, and they asked us to make prediction, utilize what you have learned to make, to help yourself learn, and find out something about um, to find out something about it. So I was just curious, what can I learn? Everybody already studied crypto, studied stocks, and I think that at that time it was March Madness. So I said, why do I analyze the basketball data? So which part of basketball data? How about I predict whoever come out of the D1 schools and get picked to NBA. So I gather data from all current NBA players, and then their data from when they were in college, and then from their 3-pointers, assists, free throws, blocks, and all of that. So analyze that, put that into build a model, put that into there, and test out who are most likely to be picked to be NBA. So I forgot if I have put personal height and weight into the model. Probably not, or maybe I did in one of the analysis and took them out. But I was able to make like 80% or something like that accuracy for that year, based on the data. So it might be it probably still needs to be tweaked a little bit, and now more models and more technology are here to refine that analysis. And so many people ask me, oh, you can go use that to predict and then go win money in Vegas. I said maybe I could, but I didn't think that way. And also, like, it's such a it, yeah, it definitely needs a lot of tweaks. And from there, I learned, people build robots to do tradings. Some of them are doing good, some of them are not. It's
Are you still like working out? You still keep yourself in shape, or that you like? I'm out of the army now. I'm not working out ever again in my life.
I try in different ways. So when I was in the army, I did work out most of the time, once or twice. So when I was deployed,
So all you do is work out when you deploy. Like you got to,
to.
unless you're gonna go batshit crazy.
It's 24/7, and then you have a defact open midnight too. So
Yeah.
but I try to do all kinds of things to stay fit and healthy. So my theory now is not to work too much on your body to stress it out. If you hurt yourself, that's not good. It's all going to come back to you later on. So do moderate exercise. Once in a while doing HIIT, probably fine. And then, doing hiking, yoga, Pilates, and play pickleball, or, snowboard, all kinds of things that can help you mentally, and keep you physically fit. And it's not too boring, like in the gym. So I mean, you can make gym fun by listen to a good podcast, or some music, have a workout buddy, have a workout plan. But it's not always. I know people who are addicted to it and who has great results, but it's just not for everyone.
So a few years ago, the big thing was Web3, like how AI is hot now. Web3 was hot a few years ago, right? I mean, Web3 is still around, but it's nowhere near as hot as it was before. Like everyone had a Web3 company, NFT company, and it's of course it's still around. But why do you think Web3 kind of like died down as far as the hype?
Mm, I definitely have that feeling. Especially, I witnessed NFT New York City from as high point to like people rarely attend it and has so little to offer. Um, and I feel like there are so many reasons because of that. NFT is just one part of how Web3 technology could be used, um, and how the cryptocurrency is doing its value definitely influences the I would say how passionate people are in this piece of technology, and definitely AI had won back all the attention. So it was AI, and then blockchain came, and now it's AI again. So I feel like the technology trend is in spirals. It will slow down a little bit. I want to rephrase. It would not slow down. It's still moving really fast, but it's not to the knowledge of common people. How people use it, utilize it behind curtains in the labs, in their garage, and utilize the technology to build other things. Normal people we wouldn't know, but people are still doing it. That's why it will come out once when a really commonly used Web3 technology come back out again, and then people will hop on the trend again for normal.
So how do you personally keep track of all this tech stuff going on? Like this, like I mean, literally, there's so much going on, right? I mean, like, how do you like keep track of all this? And of course, all of it's not important to you. Some of it is. Like, how do you like? Okay, this new thing came out. I need to get up to date. Versus, okay, this came out. I don't care about this over here, right?
Yeah, you definitely have to pick and choose. For now, because of my job, it's definitely more telco driven, and my personal use on AI technology kept me going. So I'll here and there I'll follow some news. I'll try some different models and play it around with the technology. Um, and I definitely listen to some podcasts talking about technology. And yeah, it's so hard to keep track of it. And even my friends in tech and in startups, so it's even hard for them. So you have to find your focus.
Do you have like your own startup idea that you want to do one day?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe we'll talk about next time.
Next time, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So it's top secret, okay. Um, so what do you see the future of Panda Mobile?
Mm. Mm, the most I want to see is that it has brought convenience, has become a meaningful thing to help Chinese immigrants living in the U.S. with their life, to help them live better. And beyond that, I hope to take this momentum and energy and invest that into maybe benefiting other immigrants in the U.S.
And how often do you go back to China?
Not very often.
Not for them, like
Yeah.
once every few years?
Yeah, every
Okay.
few years. Yeah.
I'm guessing you go for like maybe a month or so. I'm guessing you don't go there and come back in 3 days, right?
No, in between, I guess. So last time I went back was October last year,
Okay.
and I stayed there for 10 days.
Okay.
So yeah, not too short, not
Yeah.
too long.
That's about
either,
enough,
but
10 days, yeah.
Yeah.
But this is your home. Seattle area is your home now, so to speak.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So for your job, I mean, you talked about this before, but like, here's a bit one for you. So there's product management, program management. I'm guessing program management is like a small part of product management. How does that work?
I think product is within program.
Mm-hmm.
Program includes, the overall operations, marketing, technology, product, logistics, customer service, and
Okay.
all of that. So product is one of that. So how do you make the product so that the marketing team can market it, the sales team are able to sell it, distribute it, and so put a thread into all of those and put them together.
For Panda Mobile, I'm guessing it doesn't matter if someone has like an iPhone or Android phone. That doesn't really matter. Okay.
Yeah.
Is mobile app is it like an app that people download onto the phone, or is it more like more like AT&T or Verizon just have it?
It's a website, so you can go to our website and then to pick your plan of your favored, and you can choose whether to have your eSIM or physical SIM
Okay.
shipped to you.
Okay. And the company started this a couple years ago, right?
Yeah.
And you were talking about the idea. So next, what's your like some of your personal goals? Like you want to be like, start your own startup and be a billion-dollar company. You want to be VP of product management for Microsoft. What do you see your future being?
In the next 5 years.
Or 10 years, 20, whatever. What do you want to say?
Yeah. I would say that I definitely want to be my own boss and then whether lead a team or by myself with a lead AI, so do something that I'm truly passionate about. And I'm actually really admire and jealous of those people who know what their passion is as soon as in early age, and then that hasn't changed, and they were able to work towards that, whether they take a curve just to require the financial means first and then get back to that, or they have been keep on pursuing their dreams persistently. So I really admire people like that, because I think for me, it's sort of hard for me to find that I've always did the best of what I can, but sort of just coming within me, finding that one passion towards one thing that I really want to master it, and whether making money out of it or not, I don't care. That one is so hard for me to find, and I'm not afraid of sharing that here, because that's one of the reasons that prevented me to come on your podcast. You have reached out to me in the past, but I just didn't know that compared to all the podcasts I've listened to, of course those are experts on different podcasts giving out their opinion, who has wrote books before, who were professors in schools, and life coach and all of that, so who has achieved what they are passionate for. But what can I offer? What am I interested in mastering and bringing value to the table? That has been in my mind for the longest, and the reason why I decided to join you on this podcast now is because, not because that I found that inner passion already, it's because I know that there's something that I'm actually good at doing, which is reinventing myself based on my different situation, different um, scenarios, maybe forced, maybe chosen, maybe I chose it, regardless. But I was able to do that um, with the resources that I was given. So, do I still want to find that inner passion? Yes. But does that bother me, that preventing me to share who I am with you and with your audience, and share my struggle, um, what I'm looking for? No, because maybe sharing it will actually helping me to have a clearer path on what I'm looking for. And I do think that it make me more confident on what I'm good at, and not to worry too much about um, whether I made a good decision or bad decision now, whether I would regret in the future. I should have gone to the other side. Um, but just invest 120% of doing the best you can now, and then see where that leads to. Maybe it will lead me to find my inner passion. Maybe it will lead me to become my own business owner. Maybe that will lead me to um, driving Panda Mobile to the highest place, or a different company. I don't know, but I just know that nobody can predict either. So by investing in the present, um, will benefit me for the long term. So that's what I learned in the past, and that's what I want to share. And um, maybe people could resonate as well. So yeah, that has uh, gave me courage to.
Well, I'm so glad you finally said yes. Um, so how you do this, right? With your personal life, Panda Mobile, everything going on, you probably have 100 things you do every day, but obviously you can't do 100 things a day. How do you like prioritize and focus on what you need to focus on day to day versus like spending your time on something number 93 on your list?
Um, I agree with you. Definitely. I'm sure everybody has so much things that they want to get to. I think having a to-do list is extremely helpful. So you mark the dailies that you need to do, and then you add all of them, and maybe you can rank them periodically by priority. But definitely, what helped me the most was having a set time on doing things. So I have a set time for focusing on this part of the project for the Chinese segment. I have this set time to do other things. And then I have this set time for networking, for my personal time, all of that. So having a set time definitely allows me to focus better on just that topic, because I know that if I don't do that now, later on I won't have other dedicated time to do that. And then having the be able to check off on things that you planned out, that gives you a burst of dopamine, for sure, that you have accomplished something. And then at the end of the week, you see it so many checked off, so many crossed outs, that that just provides a feedback for how much effort you have put in to improve this week.
The Panda Mobile team, you got like all over the United States, based in Seattle. Like, how's that work?
Yeah, so it's mainly remote, so all of the U.S.
So how do y'all deal with like the different time zones, right? I think a lot of people remote work's good until like you're like one person's in Seattle, one's in like Japan, one's like you're like how y'all manage like does it run off Seattle time? Like whoever the CEOs at? How to talk about it, walk through that.
Yeah, so we have people on East Coast, Mountain Time, and Pacific.
Mm.
So yes, it's just sometimes you have to just get up for early meetings. For my previous job, I had to work with team in India, so I wake up 6 a.m. for a call. So like it's very flexible how you want to utilize your time. Maybe you get up and then get things done early, and then you take a lunch break and you take a walk and then come back and get more focused and quality work done in the afternoon. That it's I feel like what remote job really beneficial is that people don't work for time, but people who work for a quality result.
So for Panda Mobile, like personally as your role as a VP, what's your number one priority for the rest of the year? What do you want to have? What do you want to accomplish?
Personally, I definitely want to build a team, just like how we do in the military, that we trust each other, we work well with each other, that is we get things done. So build a team that is very goal oriented, execution oriented, and so build the cohesion in the team so that we function the most effectively. So regardless of the tasks, we can go tackle it, and maybe we don't even have to have a meeting, and then we already know what we're tackling first. I want that type of understanding and cohesiveness between the team members. So once we have that, I think we'll be able to do customer acquisition, maintain them on our network and provide the best customer service, all of that, because our goals aligned. We have the clear mindset of our priority. So that's my personal goal.
So I do think there's some people out there, like you tell them, hey, I need to do 1, 2, and 3. They do 1, 2, and 3, and they're like, you know what? He didn't tell me to do number 4, but I think I can figure out number 4 out right. Let me try to do number 4 right. Other people, they're like, tell them 1, 2, 3. That's all they do, right? Even though they're like, man, I could easily do number 4, but the boss didn't tell me right. Why do you think people have these two different mindsets sometimes?
I think because of the ownership. A lot of people who might not enjoy what they're doing, but they still it shouldn't say that it's passion. It should say that it's a sense of responsibility. If you trusted me on this thing, then I'm going to give my best. I'm going to think like the owner of this. The live or die of this project is my sole responsibility, and I'm going to do the best. If it needs more time, I'll put in more time. It needs me to go out of my responsibility to do other things, then I will do it. Not everybody has that mentality, and one, maybe they just feel like they don't need to do that, and two, maybe they are they're limiting themselves because they think, oh, maybe that's beneficial, but you know what, I'm not gonna touch it because I don't know, I might mess it up. My boss didn't tell me to do that. I don't want to, just doesn't trust themselves enough. So that also happens because your leadership, your leaders didn't give you enough confidence to do the things that to explore and then to take the responsibility to do that. So I think in the army that we say you always want to be able to do the the leaders that two level above you's job. And then the reason why we train soldier is to train your replacement because you are looking up and then training down to replace you to move up. So I think the same thing, and that is also very hopeful mindset to be in this in the corporate world. Like you're training the team to be able to do your job so they can act to the best of the organization on your behalf when you're not present. That leadership will um, will be able to benefit the team itself and the organization.
So it seems like you have like very high expectations of yourself, right? And so I'm gonna assume because I have the same thing that you have like high expectations of people around you, correct? So how do you? I always had a problem with this. Like, how do you deal when these people don't meet expectations? When they fail to meet expectations, like do you like try to train them up? You're like, oh man, what the fuck are you doing over here? Like this is easy. Like how do you deal with like people like letting you down, so to speak?
Yeah, it's a hard task. So I definitely learned there are different ways from the army versus the corporate. Right? In the army, you can write them a counseling, you can train them up. You're not up to standard. So, but corporate world is definitely different. And I at first I'll probably show the energy towards other people, but now I would recommend to take that energy back to myself and think, what do I need to do to be able to get the most out of that person? I cannot expect that person to think the same, do the same as I expected, but based on my understanding of that person's capabilities and what he or she's good at, how do I get the most out of them? Yeah, and just expectation management. And, yeah, it's hard to. I would say that it's hard to manage people, but it's harder to manage yourself because it's you have that frustration, it's you have that disappointment when you deal with somebody, and they might be frustrated too, but you can only control yourself whether you change your ways towards that person or you change how you think to make yourself feel better.
Can you talk some about your mentors, either like the mentors you have now, or some of the mentors you had in the past, and how they helped you out?
One of the mentor I had introduced me to 601. So, and I think my biggest mentor is my father. So, it doesn't matter how far they were. We always have this weekly chats and FaceTime each other. So sometimes I'll share what's happening around me. Sometimes I don't, but he will, based on his experience and his what he has seen on the news lately or in the past or whatever story I shared about my life, he will come up with something. He'll always come up with a topic, something to teach me, share with me, and then we'll discuss. And then I think I benefit a lot from that, but also that has built a lot of pressure for me, and also in a sense push me to be competitive, be have high standard for myself because my my father has invested so much in leading me.
So follow up, and to me, the more important part of the question: who are you mentoring right now?
Um,
Nobody. I find that hard to believe. I think you're mentoring someone. You might not realize. I think you're mentoring some people.
maybe I wouldn't say mentor, probably have minor influence
Mm-hmm.
on people because of my energy,
Mm-hmm.
what I'm doing. I, I whatever I did, whether it's hosting the tech event, hosting the tea ceremony event, I always had support from friends and family who believed in me, who channels my energy, who want to be part of that. So maybe that has influenced them, and then I hear people around me say, "Oh, um that definitely encouraged me for me to exercise more. That encouraged me for me to be more entrepreneur, that kind of thing." So, like you said, maybe I don't even know, but definitely the influence is there, back and forth.
So you kind of answered this before, but like, what about Panda Mobile convinced you like this is an opportunity for me right now?
Mm, I don't think Panda Mobile convinced me.
Mm-hmm.
I think what I have lived through convinced myself
Mm-hmm.
because when I first came to the States in University of Kentucky, I think I came with a Chinese phone. It was a Sony, and I think my parents put on like international roaming, which was really expensive. And I had my laptop. I had downloaded QQ, which is the WeChat back then, so I was able to keep internet communication with my parents and video chat with them on there. So, but I walked. I don't know how long, but it was hot in the summer. Where I came from, the weather was all year round spring. So it was hard for me to deal with like a 90, 100 degrees in the hot Lexington, Kentucky weather, and I had to walk like the um I was wearing flip flops because that's what I saw and what I learned and what I adapted. So I was walking in black flip flops in the hot summer day. It was hot. The flip flops were hot. So I walked outside campus trying to find an AT&T store to get my phone service. And I had no Google Map back then, so I walked the wrong direction.
Oh man!
Walked to the countryside, whereas there's no way AT&T. This is downtown, and AT&T store is there. So I had to walk back past my school and all the way down to the downtown area, and I had language barrier. Oh, I spent probably people usually spend 20, 30 minutes in the store to get a new phone plan. Like I spent a huge amount of time there trying to understand, compare, and I don't even know. I was scared of asking questions, and whatever I asked, I don't even understand half of it. To get the right plan, and when I get back, I know I had some issue with it, and then I don't want to call customer service because understanding people in person was already difficult for me. Not be able to reading your lips and just hearing from the phone, and sometimes it's not very clear, is not gonna do me good. So I had to wait until my roommate come home come back to the dorm from her class and ask her to call and then explain to her what's going on, and from that experience was was memorable. So it was like 16 years ago. I can still remember that. And when I brought up to this project, I was one of the few on the Panda Mobile who speaks Chinese, and that had brought me back to that moment when I walked hot summer weather to get my first phone plan in the U.S. And I know now people don't do that because they have WhatsApp, they have WeChat, they have Google Map on their phone. They probably won't go through all of that in extreme, but still to benefit them even a little more. Maybe that's what we could do. Yeah.
So why the University of Kentucky versus all the colleges on the West Coast? The West Coast has a big Asian populations. There's Texas, like Kentucky's like that's so random to me.
Yeah. So I one that was one of the schools that I qualified for. So my language test and my ACT test um, was just regular. My language test actually is a little bit better than a lot of people at that time, but my ACT, I didn't do too well. I got 20, I think. So I applied for probably 10 schools, and Kentucky was one of the ones. And then at that time, nobody knows what major is and what I'm gonna study, what I'm gonna do in the future. So I just based on listening to the teacher in the international school, they were saying that, hey, you seems like your attention to detail, and then you're a quiet girl, and then you study very hard, and you are smart. It seems like you can be a good pharmacist. So let's sign you up for a pharmacy program. So Kentucky actually has the best pharmaceutical program in the world. I mean, in the U.S. So applied for biology major in pre-pharm, and then end up finding out that I'm already scared of bugs. I'm scared of everything, like reptiles, frogs, and snakes. And teacher brought to biology class. Of course, I got a C, and all the books that I had to read and terminologies. So I just feel like, one, it's probably not my passion, and two, I'm not really good at it. And later on, if I have to sign up for a class to dissect those animals, I'm going to fail. So I did a quick pivot into finance, because I know that whether I pursue finance or not, having a finance skill to manage my own money is always good. So,
And before going to UK, were you already a big basketball person? Did you realize what a big basketball school Kentucky was?
I heard it was one of the topic when you share, hey, I'm going to UK, and people half of the people say, wait, you're going to United Kingdom? And then the other half said, oh, you're lucky, they have one of the best basketball programs there. So I was there when John Wall was there.
Okay.
So it was pretty fun, memorable, standing late at night waiting for student tickets and all that. And then I went to my first football game too. And
But that was a culture shock going to a SEC football game.
Totally.
You're like, probably, what in the world is this?
Yeah.
Like,
so I remember my roommate took me. So basically, my roommate was my first American influencer. She took me home for Christmas and Thanksgiving. Really nice, in Louisville, Kentucky. And then she took me to parties and where I don't drink, and I just watch and take care of my roommate, take her home. And then also she took me to basketball games and all those school events, football games.
The social part of college. Yeah.
Yes. So she said, hey, we're going to a football game. I said, what time is it? Oh, it's 1 p.m. I said, cool. So I was, doing homework, of course, at the time. And then it was like 9 a.m. and my roommate woke up and said, hey, let's go. It's game time.
Like, you're probably like, what?
Yeah.
What am I missing here?
Yeah, I thought the game isn't starting until 1. And then she said, but we got
Got a pregame. Got a pregame.
Yeah, the tailgate.
Yeah, tailgate. Yeah.
Yeah. So what is tailgate? And then when I got there, everybody started drinking in the parking lot, and I learned about that, and then suddenly realized why people are so crazy, because they're drunk.
Yeah. Oh, this is American culture they're talking about. So did you become a bourbon drinker in Kentucky?
No. I actually probably only drank once in Kentucky.
Okay.
Like, I was really cautious. I have friends who, like drinking every weekend and having those crazy house parties.
Yeah.
I was outside of that.
Okay. All right. And so you have pretty good experience there then, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think I'm pretty lucky to
Okay.
meet a few very nice friends.
So let's suppose there's a young lady, 18, 19 years old, somewhere in China now, and she's thinking about going to college in the United States. What advice do you have for this person?
Mm, I would say, mm, just be brave, have
Mhm.
a strong mind, um, be open minded, and just have some fun, and um, socialize more, and you know, study is important for sure. You know, maybe like different people have different study standard, um, but definitely outside of that, enjoy life.
And how often do you still code, or that's a part of your life that you don't do anymore?
Not anymore.
Okay.
Um, so during my internship with Splunk, so my role was software engineer during performance testing.
Mhm.
I had no idea what performance test was. I only coded Python just a little bit. Um, at that time, ChatGPT hasn't rolled out yet. It was towards the end of my internship, which was a huge change for me. So I was set to do this project, and first I had to learn what am I doing? I'm automating, testing, building a virtual environment to spin up some tenants living in this virtual environment and test how stable, how much load it could take, and I had no idea what that is. So I have to teach myself all that language. I have to study other people's code, um, and with somebody who had no coding or much coding experience, it was extremely hard. And I was so determined that by the end of this internship, I'm going to have a job here. So I better work hard. So I, I was, I skipped Thanksgiving and Christmas that year. I was working from getting up at 4 a.m., working from 5 to probably 9 p.m. 5 a.m. I'm start working with their European team. There's a really nice guy called Glenn. I still remember. He was super friendly. I asked him all the questions, and then he was so patient to answer and then to teach me because he has done some of the similar things. So I had a meeting with him, go through what I've done wrong. I debug with him because there's no chat GPT. So after that, from 9 to 5, I work with my team in the North America and also Canadian teams. I ask different people. So you have to learn, try not to bother one person too much, and then they get annoyed. So you bother this person a little bit. And then after 5, from 5 and on, I work with Australian team. So during that time, it was like probably 4 months of stressfulness. And eventually I was able to present all my work automated, everything was working to a group of 100 engineers like in the whole company. So to me that was unbelievable, like and that also you know proved myself again. You just invest in time and energy and be persistent and learning and practicing, you can do that thing. So it it was an unforgettable experience, but I'm not good at that. And spending time to do what you're not good at, to improve what you're not good at, um, was not very effective. So instead, I was looking for opportunities to double down on what I was good at. and then very conveniently at that time, even after I finished, I extended my internship and I finished that, and the mass layoff happened. So they didn't have a head count back then 3 months ago, and they were laying people off by the time I finished. So I wasn't able to get in to work with the company anymore. So I was off the program, just looking for jobs and running off-chain, running events, and then doing interviews, coffee chats, networking, and eventually landed my previous job, which was the data analyst.
So what would your 19-year-old self say about you now? Were your 19-year-old self said, hey, you're doing great in life, or like, you're not doing good enough, you're doing well? What do you think your 19-year-old self would say about you right now?
You could do better.
Something told me you would say something like that.
Yeah. So I think I always had a.
But that can be a blessing and a curse, though, right? Because it's a blessing because you try to do more, but it can be a curse. Curse, like you're doing the best you can, and you try to almost destroy yourself, right? Like.
Yeah, I would smack her.
Yeah. Do your family from China ever come to visit you?
Yeah, they're actually coming in June.
Okay.
This year, so.
Nice.
Parents, so.
Nice. Got any brothers and sisters?
No,
just you.
Child, so it was really hard on them.
So were you a spoiled brat coming up, as they say?
You can say so,
Yeah.
but also I'm a nice.
Yeah.
So working my ass off on things.
Yeah, that's good. That's good though.
And I always respect my family. So that's one of the things that I don't get and I don't quite understand is how like the younger generation's not as respectful.
You know what? I think that's every generation. I think you go back to 1,000 years. Like my generation's the best. My parents' generation don't know what they're doing. My kids are like fucking lazy jackasses. I think it's every generation does that. I don't think that ever changes. At least my opinion, right? Like I'm a Gen X. Boomers know nothing about tech. Generation Z, like, man, what are they doing? Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just part of life. What kind of stuff besides 601 Club? Any other networking you do?
It's just regular some tech events and my friends are hosting or inviting me to, but not so much.
Here's one for you. I think a lot of us spend too much time saying yes to everything, and we should be saying no more. Like, how do you say no? Like, how do you know what to say no to?
In the past, I was always the person who says yes, yes, I'll do my best, I'll try, and I ended up forcing myself, even though some of the cases I didn't want to, and then sometimes I have to come up with reasons to make myself feel comfortable to tell that reason to the person that I can't make it. But now I've learned my lesson. The easiest, faster way to make people feel the best is to just say no right away. When you have a doubt, when you have a hesitation, just say no. Because later on, that saves you so much time and energy to not get into all the weeds of what reason do I come up with, or do I go or not? I don't want to disappoint them and all of that. Just simply just say I'm not able to make it, and I know it's going to be fun. Enjoy. So. I learned that from one of the podcasts that I listened to. I don't remember where, but one, you have to be polite, and two, you don't even have to give a reason because people will evaluate that reason. Oh my God, you value your so and so more than me. And three, you don't want to lie about your health. Oh, sorry, I'm sick. I don't want to go. What you say attracts the energy that comes to you, and you don't want to get sick after you lie, right? And four, it's just you wish them happiness, and then people will tend to accept that.
So, is there anything I should ask you that I haven't asked you yet, or anything else you want to talk about?
I think we talked about a lot. Yeah, it was. I have a question for you though. So
okay.
It seems like it's always um, you you're very prepared. Um, um, like you asked me about one specific time of my experience, and then you jump to another, and then jump back and forth, and that kept me, you know, if I want to say that I feel comfortable talking about this, you kept me on edge, on my toes, and talking about other things that kept me going. So, is that a design strategy, or is that just you?
No, it's how my mind works. To be
Oh,
honest with you,
okay.
yeah. Like how my mind works, like I ask you a question, you're answering literally 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 questions going in my head. And I can't remember all right. So whenever you stop talking, what's over my head, I ask. And something that I try to keep in my mind, like I want to ask a mental question, and then like you're talking, the mental question will
Yeah,
disappear, then it'll
yeah,
come back,
exactly.
yeah. So yeah, it's just how my mind works. My mind is like it's all over the place, yeah. Because like how I prepare, like I get your bio and I look on social media and like just make talking points, stuff I want to talk about. Of course, the military veteran stuff, that's easy one because
Yeah,
my background too,
yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, it's yeah, just my mind works,
yeah.
yeah.
Are you ready?
Yes. Every day, yeah.
Every day.
Every day. Try my
Yeah.
best, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, we covered a lot of stuff as usual. Um, can you share your social media or other ways for people to reach out to you?
Yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn. Just find my name, Yanjun, Andrie Lin. So Yanjun, or Andrie, Andrie, Lin, last name Lin.
So totally random, right? Why is it? I might be making this up. Why does it seem like most? Because I was in Vietnam for 9 days. Everyone there has like an English name. You have an English name. Why do people in Asia have an English name? Is that something you just do before you come to America? Like, how's that work?
Yes. So when I was little, like probably 5,
Mm.
my parents sent me to my first English class. I don't even know what I was talking about. I
Mm.
was just repeating after them and clapping my hands. And they said, okay, now everybody's going to have an English name. And you
At
get
5?
excited.
Oh wow! I thought it was like something like later on in life. I didn't realize that early.
Yeah. You had English names, whether you liked it or not, from that class, in that.
So
And then
who gave you your
the
English name?
teacher.
The teacher.
The
So
teacher. Yeah.
just randomly gave you that name
Yeah.
out of all the hundreds of English names.
Yeah. And then you don't like that name. Um, it's hard because you're already named that
Because
way,
you're
right?
stuck with it,
So
right?
find another class, find another school, and then get a different name or come up with your own name after you watch some American movies.
And no one ever says like we're Chinese, we're Vietnamese, or whatever. I have a name I love already. What's this bullshit about getting an English name? What are we doing here, right?
I think that's true with some people who's that's their choice.
Mm.
But for teachers to give you American name to ask you to learn English better, there's a psychology into it
I can
actually.
see that, yeah.
Because how do you get more personally invested into learning the subject?
Yeah.
Just give you a name and then you write it, and everybody loves their name. Everybody loves themselves. So, like you become more Americanized. You become more immersive to that culture when you have an American name. So that helps you learn better. So it's a psychological trick, or maybe I was thinking too much, but I think that has that psychological effect. But I do think there are people who just kept their own Chinese name, but at the same time you're not writing it though. You're writing it in the Roman characters, so it's hard to. A lot of people change it because it's hard to pronounce, hard to memorize. Um, Different reasons. So, and also I believe it's that strong presence of American culture, of superior. Um, I'm going to your country, but I'm speaking English. You have to speak my language because the American culture economy is the best in the world. So people adapt to you, not you adapt to them. So I think that also plays an effect.
And so was America the goal? Was it like New Zealand, Australia, England, like the backup plan is always like America or bust as far as going to college?
Um, it was America.
Okay.
Yeah. Whether it's LA or Kentucky, or
Mhm.
whether it's Texas,
Mhm.
Illinois, yeah, it's always America.
Okay. Nice. What else? So before we get out of here, can you give us any advice or wisdom or anything you want to talk about?
Mm, I would say something that helped myself the most is just to stay in the peace of mind, and focus on present, because you can't change the past, and in the past you have made the best decision for yourself at that moment, and it's not fair to judge yourself, um, with the experience and the knowledge that you have now to judge the past of you, not making a right decision. um, but it's not fair, because the past you at that moment, with the level of knowledge and experience, made the best decisions. So there's no way for you to think the past and regret. And also there's you can plan for the future, but not to get too worried on whether I make a decision now, would that lead to a different route that I would regret that I didn't take option B, because it's sort of irrelevant too, because you never know what it's gonna lead to. For example, Jack Ma, he English was his best subjects in school. He studied and prepared and took the college entrance exam 3 or 4 times in his life, and he finally got into like a English as a language college. And because his English was so good, um, he got chosen to be a translator for a company, and he got sent to the U.S. during the .com um, era, and then he learned the American way. He learned PayPal and um, I think e-commerce, and then got it back, and then started his own companies. Did he know that not? Did he know that he every decision he made will lead him to one of the richest person in China? No, but he was just basically doing what's in front of him, and doing it best, and just let that path lead him to the next. And he might he could have chosen other options to, maybe it will lead to a different lifestyle, but it's just irrelevant. So definitely focus on present, and give what you have.
Hey, thank you for your time today. Really appreciate it. And to our listeners, thank you for your time as well. Remember to be great every day.